Okay, could I get everyone to take their seats again, please?
Tyler, can I do one more comment in other business?
Okay, so we're going to call the meeting back to order. And we're going to give the floor to Michael Loberg for a report on financials. Michael.
Thank you, Tyler. My name is Mike Loberg. I'm one of the Alberta directors. Can you hear me? Okay. It seems to be working. I'll try to speak up a little bit. My name is Mike Loberg. I'm one of the Alberta directors. I'm also general counsel to the CCFR and currently serving also as the treasurer. So I'll be addressing a couple of financial issues today. With respect to the general counsel position, I can report that there's no issues with the CCFR, no actions for or against or legal issues arising. So quick report on that. With respect to the financials, there's two parts that would normally happen today. We would place the financials and the auditor's report before the members, and then have a motion to appoint a new public accountant to do the audit for next year. Now, as the members will recall, in our first AGM, BDO was our auditor and provided late financial information, so I was able to give a presentation from the podium about what the financial circumstances of the corporation were. Unfortunately, this year they were even later than they were last year. So the audit process takes about 5 weeks, and they started 3 weeks ago, so they haven't actually concluded it. So unfortunately, I don't have the audited financial statements to speak to today, and we will have to provide those by electronic methods later on. As a consequence of that, we have the second part of the business is to appoint an auditor for next year, and unsurprisingly, I'm not proposing that it be BDO this year. We have interviewed various people and had discussions with Myers Norris Penny LLP, MNP, and they have nicely agreed to serve as our auditors going forward for the next year. In the prior years, in the BDO year, they had actually provided some of the accounting services for the company, for the CCFR, as well as doing the audit. And as Tracy had indicated previously, she has now taken on some of the accounting functions, which is going to save some of these members' dollars in that respect. And MNP will be doing our audit. Now, that is a motion that has to come from the floor to approve them, so I'll pass this back to Tyler to speak to that.
All right, as Michael indicated, we need a motion from the floor for the appointment of the auditors. So moved, Joseph. Okay, we have a motion to appoint MNP as the auditors. I need a seconder. Second, okay, thank you. So the question has been stated. Are you ready for the question? Okay, all in favor? That is carried. Okay. Our next item of business is the results from the Alberta Director election. We'll deal with first. So we had two candidates running for the position in Alberta, Aaron Snell and Ann Jordan. We had a turnout of 181, or 34.2% of the 529 eligible electors vote in this election. And the results are, Ann Jordan received 89 votes, Aaron Snell received 91 votes. So Aaron Snell has been elected the new director for Alberta. Okay. And I'm going to turn the floor over to Tracy Wilson to announce the incumbent directors, or the acclaimed directors, pardon me, and provide a formal welcome. Tracy.
Thanks, Tyler. First of all, I'll just explain. So we do have some new directors coming in, some previous directors going out. The reason that Alberta was the only province who actually had an election was there was the only province with competition. So the other new directors are acclaimed directors. Nobody ran against them, so it's an automatic win. Congratulations, Aaron, and thank you, Anne, for your service over the previous year. So, your new slate of directors. So I am also, I've got this in a file. I will post it into the Facebook group I did a PowerPoint with their bios, which we're not going to read today because we do eventually want to finish this meeting. So I'm not going to read everybody, but I'll give you a little bit on the new people coming in because you may not be familiar with them. So I will post this in the Facebook social media group as well. It will go out via email to all the membership. So in British Columbia, you've got one more year left with Rod Giltaca. And you've got a new incoming director. So originally British Columbia only had one director, but it had 2 seats and nobody had run previously. So we welcome Nathan Picklick to the board of directors to represent British Columbia. In Alberta, we've got a year left with Mr. Loberg, so we're happy to have him with us for one more year. And we welcome incoming Aaron Snell. Should I give them a little bit about them? No. Okay. For the province of Saskatchewan, we thank J.P. Thauberger for his 2 years that he has given to the CCFR and to the members of his province. And we welcome incoming director Sean Heineman. Our only missing director here this weekend, Ron Scott, unfortunately, he wasn't able to take some leave from work, so he's absent. But he's got 1 year left in Manitoba, so we'll be looking to you guys for some help next year in Manitoba. In Ontario, oops, sorry, I skipped ahead. In Ontario, we've got a year left with Mr. Jamie Elliott, who also heads up the field officer program, so we're happy to have another year with Jamie. And to fill my vacated seat, we welcome from Ontario, Gord Lamoureux, your new director in Ontario. Quebec is happy to have Mr. Dominic Duchesne for yet another year. So we're proud to see his continued efforts in Quebec. And he will be joined, originally he was the only director, we had an empty seat. He will be joined by Field Officer Sandro Abel in Quebec, your new director. Over to the East Coast, we've got in New Brunswick, Trevor Furlot, the infamous Trevor. So New Brunswick is very lucky to have him represent. And we've got Morley Knight yet again for one more year in Nova Scotia. So information about the, next year will be going out to the membership prior to next year's AGM. So can we welcome all the new directors and thank those who have finished their service.
Thank you, Tracy. So moving on, we have 2 items. We have a presentation of the CCFR Range Officer Program and Course and a presentation on CCFR Radio by Trevor Furlot. So we'll turn the floor over to Trevor.
Thank you, Tyler. Bonjour tout le monde. Good morning, everyone. The background and rationale to this program is with education playing such an important role within CCFR's mandate, it was only natural that we develop both a range safety officer training program and a firearms instructor program. More on that hopefully next year. Most clubs want their insurance provider to also have an RSO program, so their club's RSO's insurance provider and so that their insurance and their RSO program are coming from the same organization. So this is something that I believe Lucas is hearing when he's talking to clubs about switching over to CCFR insurance. One of the first questions that he gets from some provinces is, are you training RSOs? Other provinces, it's a non-issue. Some CFOs require clubs to have RSOs, some CFOs don't. So it's as Rod said earlier, we are evolving, and this is a program that we definitely need to have, especially then since it will complement our insurance. So as far as implementation goes, I contacted Peter Elliott in early 2017. Peter has a lifetime of experience in the firearms industry and has developed RSO training programs for many organizations. So he's going to rebrand the program that he has for us, send it along for us to kind of vet it, make sure that there are no issues and we're comfortable with the course content and the curriculum. We had scheduled a course actually for last May, but unfortunately Peter, a veteran of the Vietnam War, took a round to the knee, and that eventually caught up to him and had to have his leg amputated. So when the course, it's okay, you should see the other guy. When the course finally does take place, which I think will be this fall, the idea is that we will start with training master learning facilitators. So the master learning facilitator creates the local facilitators. Local facilitators create RSOs. So there'll be a select number of people who can teach the instructors to actually put on the course. So there'll be a small number of master learning facilitators, and then throughout the provinces we'll create local facilitators who will actually then train the range officers to function as in that role at their clubs. So more on that later. The course is rescheduled for the fall. Initially it's going to be Morley and myself and Tracy to start on our journey as master learning facilitators, and then roll it out to the provinces from there. The exact dates haven't been announced yet, so we're waiting to hear back from Peter on that. CCFR radio. If anyone here has ever listened to Slamfire Radio, you know that I'm notorious for what I did this week in guns. This won't be that, I promise you. It'll be brief. Since CCFR was born on social media, and podcasting is a huge part of social media, it seems that it's only natural that we go this way. The idea is that we produce a bi-weekly podcast to keep our members up to date as to what's happening within the CCFR across the country. We'll start off with Morley, myself, and Rod as the hosts, talking to FOs, FO coordinators across the country to get updates, and also cover any hot button topics that are happening within the firearms community in Canada. So the show will give CCFR members and potential members alike an opportunity to just stay in touch, get bi-weekly updates, right into the show, ask questions. We'll have Michael on occasion to field some legal questions, etc. The podcast we're actually going to record our inaugural episode tomorrow morning. So that'll be, then the podcast will be found on podcast.ccfr.ca. It'll also be available on iTunes, Facebook, etc. And if you're already a podcast subscriber, you can download the show using your current podcast app. Huge shout out to Field Officer Adriel Michaud, Brent Nelson, and Serge LaChapelle for all of their help with behind the scenes to get this up and running. So stay tuned.
Thanks, Trevor. Well, this brings us to the other business portion of the agenda, and we have slotted in Lucas Kuziak to give us an update on insurance activities. So could I get a cordless microphone up to the front, please? And you as well. Thank you.
Just come stand in front, Lucas.
Yeah. Okay, Lucas has the floor.
Check. Oh, thank you everyone for giving me this opportunity. Not used to this. So thank you everyone for giving me this opportunity. My name is Lucas Kuziak. I'm the insurance broker for the CCFR. I've had the privilege of working with the CCFR since before inception, and it's been amazing. I promised the board today not to bore everyone with insurance, but it's going to happen. It's insurance. Today I wanted to present a few stats and facts around our insurance offerings. Every paid member of the CCFR is allotted $5 million in third-party liability coverage. All sanctioned legal activities, including fishing and hunting, are covered by this. This coverage protects you, our members, against suits brought against you by third parties. So everyone gets this with their $40 membership. I'm sure you've heard this before, everyone knows it, but there's still a lot of misunderstandings about it. When doing research for this presentation, I came across an interesting tidbit of information. I was actually arguing with a colleague of mine about guns. He's not a gun owner. He's been doing insurance for 30 years. And, you know, he doesn't believe in ownership. He doesn't believe that we should have automatics and, you know. So your typical Toronto insurance broker. I'm the exception. So long story short, I've asked him one question. How many issues have you had with guns in the house? How many claims? Well, in the last 30 years, aside from fires and thefts, which are fires, thefts, he had a handful of thefts of firearms. In 30 years, a handful of thefts. That's not bad. I mean, it's pretty good. And when we were talking about a standard homeowner's policy, I asked him, well, how does insurance look at guns when it comes to your home? Well, looking through the standard homeowner's policy wordings, we couldn't find the word gun or firearm anywhere in it. Now, at first, I found that a little strange. I mean, they're guns, right? They're dangerous, and you think insurance industry would regulate their policies to minimize the risk. And insurance companies assess risks before they write any policy wordings. Underwriters use exclusions to minimize that risk. You'd think the word firearm would appear somewhere in those exclusions. It doesn't. Now, my colleague took it a step further. He started reviewing U.S. policy wordings. Now, you think U.S., gun crimes, guns, everyone's carrying, right? Not even the U.S. insurance policy, homeowners policy wordings have the word firearm in it. So, you know, I want all of you to think about that. If we're so risky, if we're such a hazard, why don't insurance companies exclude firearms from homeowners policies? We actually treat firearms as general property. No one actually has to tell their insurance company that they have firearms in the home. Unless you have antiques or high-valued firearms, firearms are treated just like any other piece of property in your house. Now, not telling you to cancel your riders or do anything with them, because once you put a rider on your homeowner's policies, you gain certain benefits, and then they're generally very cheap. But sorry, I'm rambling now. Statistically speaking, we are by far the safest demographic in Canada. Not because of our laws, actually despite our laws. It's because we are law-abiding Canadians. Most of us are tired of lies in the media, and that's why the CCFR is so important in the work we're doing. You know, it's coming, 20 months, right? We've done a lot, and we you know, things are looking good. But, okay, to give you guys an idea of how often our coverage has been triggered over the last 20 months, I've asked for a detailed report from our underwriters. So, send them an email. Week goes by, no one replied to me. I called our first underwriter for our third-party liability coverage, and, you know, they said, no, not a single claim in 20 months. And so we got talking, and, you know, I was told, actually, we haven't had a single claim in 30 years doing this. Doesn't that tell you guys something? You know, come on. Oh, there's more. Well, give yourself a, yeah. Now, so moving on, we also offer legal advice. This is $16 a year, taxes in. And this isn't firearm specific. You could call and ask any legal question. So over the last 20 months, the call center fielded 22 calls. I mean, 22 calls over 20 months. That's one call a month. 5 of those calls was me. So, come on, guys, you're paying for this. Use it. After. Oh, there you go. There's the other guy. So we've got what? 17. Okay, we also offer legal defense coverage. This is $92 a year, taxes in, and it protects you for storage, use, transportation, display of firearms. Not bad. Now, here's when things get a little bit interesting. I field a lot of calls from individuals who want to purchase this coverage after they've been charged with something. Well, that's no good. No insurance company is going to take on a claim after. Yeah, so if we were to include those individuals, by now we'd have almost a dozen ongoing cases. But we can't. So currently, in reality, we have one current case that involves defense of property with a shotgun. The gentleman is being defended by DAS Legal, and I will be happy to report the outcome once the charges are dismissed. So, legally speaking, we can't talk about details of an ongoing case. So, but soon enough, you guys will know all about this, and it's going to be a funny story. Because we will win. Last thing is I want to announce the winner of the Facebook contest that I started a few days ago to help the Alberta CCFR members to vote for a new director. I promised to mail the winner 10 rounds of 50 BMG. So yeah, it's not going to be cheap, but so everyone who commented on that thread and voted, I got your name in this cup. And I think it's only fair that Aaron chooses the winner. Oh, yeah. It's not. No. Actually, you might. If you want to shake it up.
I don't like that one. Don't like that one. Don't like that one. Maybe this one.
You read it.
Okay. Anthony Alexic? He's not here? Okay, we'll go on to the next one. No.
Well, congratulations, Anthony. I'll let the board look at these names after just to make sure I didn't cheat. But thank you guys, and it's been a pleasure.
Okay, so that concludes the planned part of the other business. Just to clarify, the other business section of the agenda is for business. If there is any Q&A, the board and the executive will be available after the meeting. So, hearing no other business, we'll move on to President's closing statement. Rod, you have the floor.
I was holding that cough. Okay, well, we made it. That wasn't too dry. Lucas kept us entertained, which is awesome. Never knew that insurance could be so entertaining, but I was riveted. And the financial was a lot of fun also. But once again, thanks everybody for coming out. I did want to say one thing that is sort of other businessy, which is I just want to talk briefly about participation. You know, at the risk of sounding too commercial, you know, we definitely wanted to start a very different kind of organization, right? I mean, we've had the same organizations for a long time in Canada, and there was other things that needed to be attended to, and that's why we started it. And we also wanted it to be different on a lot of different levels. And one of the big differences is, and this is just my opinion, I don't think that the community or the people that we influence or lobby or whatever need to see the same faces year in and year out. I don't believe that anybody should be the president of an advocacy organization for 20 years. I don't think it's healthy. So when we look at certain provinces, we still have openings for directors, don't we? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So now the CCFR is building its brand, right? I mean, it's hard to believe, based on everything that we've done so far, that we're not even a 2-year-old organization, right? Which is super impressive. And sometimes I got to remind myself when I get impatient, how come we're not doing this, and how come we haven't done that yet? But it's like, yeah, we haven't even been around 2 years. But I really want to encourage people to participate, and that includes being in this seat. You know, I can't do it forever. I would love to have somebody that exceeds my skill set come up and take the torch for a few years. That'd be great, right? So don't look at the board or look at the organization and go, well, everybody's got a seat already. Like, all the seats are available. And if you want to serve your community, even if it's for a couple of years, like that's my plan, right? Was to come here and help for a couple of years and then move on and actually be able to go camping and shoot guns, you know, which would be a miracle if I could do that, right? So don't be shy. If you think you have something to offer, step up, run for a director's seat, okay? Get on the board. If you want to be president of the CCFR, that's within reach, okay? So I just want you guys to participate, whether it's grassroots or being a field officer or being something, some other auxiliary position or getting on the board, right? We really need people to step up and participate, or things are going to get stagnant and old and it's going to be the same old story, okay? So that's just what I'd like to say. Other than that, I guess we will, do I call for an adjournment or are you going to call for it?
Yeah, I'll call for it.
Thanks, everybody, and we'll see you at the reception. Hopefully everybody's going to be there.
Okay. Thanks, Rod. And as Rod mentioned, that concludes the order of business for today. So keeping in mind what he said earlier about dueling, could I get a motion to adjourn, please? Thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
Could I get a seconder, please? Thank you. So it has been moved and seconded to adjourn the 2017 AGM. All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you, everyone.
Now, we can do questions.
Thank you. So it has been moved.